Hi, everybody. Hi, Madeline. Madeline, where are you going?
Yeah, it looks like you're on a trip. The recording started.
Catherine Scott.
That's Kate Hudson's mom.
Okay. Well, hi, everybody. We're glad to see you.
Hello, hello.
We hope you all had a nice weekend, a nice Halloween weekend, and you had a good day today at school. So today's meeting should be pretty short and sweet, but we definitely want to talk to you about a couple of really important things. Um, First off, we're still missing some people's pictures. So we're kind of thinking actually, we may just not even worry about the picture. And we're going to go ahead and laminate your posters that you've given to us. So if you would on Wednesday, please stop by. Do you want them to come to my room or your
My
room?
room's fine because they'll
Okay.
be closer to me.
Okay. Stop by Mrs. Kneifel's room since you'll be closer to her and pick up your poster. That way you can take it home and you can have it as part of your intro video. Does that make sense? So we'll get them laminated. You make sure you come pick them up because you need to use that when you are creating your video. Any questions about that? Are we okay there? Okay. So the second thing that we wanted to talk to you about then a little bit are your stories. So your flexibility stories that you created. So Mrs. Kneifel and I went through and read all of them. Now, 5 of you have not turned them in. So 5 of you, we don't have your story yet. If you remember, those were due by today. So if you're sitting there thinking, I don't know if I turned mine in or not, I don't remember, then please make sure that you double check because they were due today. For the rest of you, most of you had what I would say is a really good start, but we feel like they're not quite there yet. Please remember that this month, your lesson is really just you sharing your Lifeline story. If you guys listened to the announcements last week, my class had announcements, and all week long, I had my class talking about the Lifeline of flexibility. This isn't going to be a new Lifeline to our kids because we've been talking about flexibility really since the very beginning of this school year because, of course, everything that's going on. So we need you to really have a meaningful story that explains your situation. And more importantly, something that lots of you did not include is sort of your feelings. Like some of you had a great, like maybe you talked about how you've had to use a lot of flexibility because with COVID this year, you have to wear masks and you can't always, maybe if you're watching a lesson on the computer, maybe you can't always hear, or maybe you can't ask a question right away. But if you just list sort of the problems, that's not really explaining how you use flexibility. Does that make sense?
How you feel about it.
So the goal is you share what is the situation where you had to be flexible, and then explain how did you feel about that? How did you choose to deal with it in a flexible, responsible way? Remember, flexibility isn't just about changing plans, it's about doing it with a positive attitude. Does that make sense? Thumbs up if that makes sense. So today, after the lesson, you need to immediately, because again, our lesson will be, our time together will be pretty short. You need to go immediately back into your document and look at it and see. Number one, if you didn't turn it in, you know what you need to do. But even for those of you who turned it in, you need to go back and see, did I really give a solid example of a situation where I had to use flexibility? Did I say how I felt? Did I say how I dealt with it and problem solved and made the best solution possible? If you've got all of those things, then you've probably got a great story. But if you go back in and you're like, oh, I only have 2 or 3 sentences, yep, that's probably not enough. Does that make sense? And I am going to just throw a shout out. Again, pretty much everybody who turned it in, you've got a great start. But I do want to say Alyssa and Caitlin, like rock star, awesome examples. You gave multiple examples of how you use the Lifeline, how you felt about it, how you dealt with it responsibly to be flexible. So you guys did an awesome job. Everybody else, you're on the right track, but we want you to just go back and see what you can add to make it better, to make it more meaningful for the kids that you're going to be sharing it with.
Not just examples, but actually how you dealt with it. Not just examples.
Okay. Cooper said that the meat will not. Okay. All right. Mrs. Kneifel will work on getting another link to Cooper. Does anybody have any questions about what you need to do for the story? Please just unmute yourself. You're welcome to just unmute and jump in if you have a question or a comment.
Dusty and Owen did turn it in now.
Okay. Sounded like somebody started to unmute and then left again. Okay. So then here's what the plan is. We're not telling you your grade level right now, so that's not a concern. Remember, right now, this, especially for this first time, it doesn't make a difference. You're not doing anything with another partner. This is completely on your own. So what you are going to do is your assignment from last week to this week was to write your flexibility story and to start practice taping. Did anybody out there give me a thumbs up if you actually did practice taping yourself, or raise your hand or whatever? Give us a thumbs up if you practice taping. Awesome. That's great, you guys. So here's your assignment. Continue practicing. Today, when we are done with our lesson, you need to fix your flexibility story, make sure it is like a rock star example, and then start practicing the recording. On Wednesday, when you come get your poster back from us, then what we want for you to do is between Wednesday and Sunday, we are going to request that you actually make your recording. Now, one change from last time when we met, rather than you doing two separate recordings, one of you introducing yourself, holding up your poster, sharing your intro, and then a separate video of you talking about flexibility, you are going to make one video. So you're going to have your poster, you're going to keep in mind, you are going to be talking to somewhere between a kindergarten class and a fourth grade class. Younger students than you, right? So you know how you need to speak to them. But if this were my poster and I'd say, hi, boys and girls, my name is Mrs. Tun, and I want to tell you a little bit about myself. I'm so excited that I get to be an ambassador for your grade level this year, and I want you to get to know me just a little bit. And then I would share some things off of my poster. Remember what I said, if there was something that I was really interested in, maybe, for example, I love the book Charlotte's Web. So maybe I'm going to hold up my copy of Charlotte's Web, and I'm going to be talking about how that's one of my favorite books of all time. And it's because it's all about the lifelines of friendship and caring. So I could maybe have, if you're into sports, maybe you're going to hold up your mitt and your baseball bat or whatever and share about you. The more personal you make that intro, the more your kids are going to be invested and caring about your video and your presentation. So you are going to tape that intro when you're done with the intro. So then I'm like, so now that you know a little bit about me, I want to talk to you about our first lifeline for this year. And that's the lifeline of flexibility. I know you've been being flexible. Gosh, we've all been being flexible since last spring. But I want to tell you a specific time that I had used flexibility. And then I would go into my story, not only share the story, but then how did I deal with it? Maybe I felt sad, or I felt frustrated, or I felt a little angry. How did I responsibly handle those emotions, turn the story around, and show how, even though I felt those things, I chose to be flexible. I chose to have a positive attitude and look on the bright side of the situation, whatever it may be. You want to leave your kids on a positive note, a positive message. You don't want to just say, oh, I had to be so flexible and masks are terrible and I can't hear you on Zoom and this is awful. What are they going to learn from that? That would be learning to be negative. That's definitely not what we're looking for. We want them to learn that even in those hard situations, we can turn it around. Just like in our life goal pledge every day, I'm going to do the right thing today, even if I don't feel like it. I'm going to treat people right, even if I don't feel like it. That's perfect for going along with flexibility because things happen that are out of our control, but I can choose to look on the bright side. I can choose to have a positive attitude. Does that make sense? So your video has to go from your intro, all about you, into the lifeline of flexibility and sharing that story and leaving your kids really pumped up that you believe in them and that just like you, they can use flexibility. It's about motivation and caring and connection with your class. And again, at the end, you should have a smile on your face, not flexibility is so hard. You know, it needs to be something positive. Any questions about anything I've just said?
And we want it done by Sunday. That way me and Mrs. Tun can watch your videos before our meeting on Monday. So we can tell you what needs to be fixed. Oh, your video was fantastic, yada, yada, yada. So you're going to have to not only record it, but you're going to have to upload it to YouTube like in my video show so you can send me and Mrs. Tun the link. Or actually, you know what? I'll make an assignment where you can, like a question, like post your link here. And then once your link is made for your final video, you can put your link in the assignment spot. That way the link will go automatically to me and Mrs. Tun. And then we need to view it before the meeting. So we need your video done before the meeting next week, which is the 9th, I think. I don't really know. The 9th. Okay, sorry.
No, yeah, that's good. So if you can work on this week, get it done and to us by Sunday. We will watch all of your videos. And then that way the goal, we'll meet with you again next Monday. We'll talk about kind of like with your flexibility stories. If we see a video that we're like, oh gosh, we think you need to redo that, you'll need to redo it and resubmit it to us for approval before we'll send it out to grade levels. You guys know if you are taping, I mean, I know for myself, right? If I say something, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's not what I meant to say, and that didn't go how I planned. This is live. I can't change what happens. What happens, right? But when I'm making a video, I don't know if you guys remember. Do you remember on the very first day of school this year when the teachers, or the day before, all the teachers sent out an open house video where we were welcoming you back to school? Do you know I obsessed over that? And I think I retaped mine like 12 times before I got one I liked to send to my class. Now, I'm not saying you have to retape 12 times, but what I am saying is common sense. If you tape it and you're jumbling your words and it's not making sense, you probably need to retape, right? You guys know what to do. You know what you want to share with your class. So that's why we say practice. Do a few trial videos with your, put it to the side. It was a great practice. You're better, you're stronger. Your next one will be better. Do that until you get one that you're really proud of, that you feel like it's a good representation of you. You explained yourself well. You had a smile on your face. You had a great, connection with your story, and you feel really proud of what you shared. Then that's what you should submit to us. Okay? Now, that was a lot of information. I feel like we're always giving you all this information. What questions do you have? Feel free to unmute and just jump in.
When will we be getting our classes? Like told what classes we're doing?
We'll talk about that after next. Yeah, good question. First, I want you to remember it's not that it doesn't matter, but it's not as critical this year because really it just kind of depends on numbers, and we're going to kind of play with how many people we're going to put per grade level. But since you're not actually going down to the rooms, that's why we almost want to see your videos and kind of get a feel for the way you present to help us decide who might be strongest with different grade levels of students. So we'll definitely take your requests into account. We know you submitted those last week in the stream, I think. We'll take that into account, but your video will also help make that decision.
I have a question.
Any other questions? Yeah.
When we get our grade levels, will we also be getting our partners?
Yes. Once we do that, then we'll tell you who your partners are. And remember, partners is kind of a different term this year because really you're still going to be making your own video, but you will be working together to kind of split up future lessons and each take a portion of the lesson.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Any other questions? Mrs. Kneifel, what am I forgetting to share?
I feel like we got a lot of it. But for the most part, unless you got that lovely shout out from Mrs. Ton about your story, you need to go back and add not just examples of flexibility, but how flexibility truly made you feel and how you truly took a positive spin on it. Some of you only had one sentence. I'm going to let you know it needs to be longer than one sentence, okay? I don't know what else.
Yeah. So guys, just go back and again, look at your story. And is it something that's really going to help you? Oh my gosh, some of you look like you're about to be eaten by your dog. Sorry, I was just distracted. You really do need to have a story that is going to help you connect with your class. If you just, again, this is my fear because a few that I read, it was literally like, flexibility is so hard and I use it and there's all this bad stuff happening and oh my gosh. You're going to have poor kindergartners who are like, oh, this sounds terrible. We want them to feel empowered and motivated, like they can do this just like you. Okay. So what does your video need? It needs an awesome intro where you have a strong connection, where you really care about what you're sharing. You're passionate about what you're sharing with your class. It needs a strong flexibility story where you are making real observations, not just, and we have to wear masks.
Yeah,
we know, right? Something more than that, more meaningful. And then the end, what's really positive is something that's going to put the positive spin on it and how flexibility really does make things better. Choosing to look on the bright side really does make things better. And I think that's it. Any other questions? No? Okay, well then if we're good, the rest of what would be our ambassador time is for you to right now go work on improving those flexibility stories, making them more meaningful. On Wednesday, don't forget to pick up your poster and then you can start taping. Okay? Anything else? We are so, and I mean this, I am so excited to see your videos. I can't wait to see how your videos turn out. I just think it's going to be awesome. I think the kids are going to love seeing them. So shake off your nerves when you go to record. Practice it a few times because you're going to be awesome and the kids are going to love it. Okay? All right. If there are no more questions, then we're going to say goodbye for now and you know what you need to work on. Okay? All right. Bye, everybody. Have a great night. We'll look forward to seeing you soon.